What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It is time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. I'm your host, TJ Zwarych, and these have kind of, I think, been some of my favorite episodes of the year so far when we get to talk about Stranger Things. And now we are finally getting to dive into Season 5, Volume 2, 3 episodes to break down, and I, of course, could not do it without my schnookums. I need my schnookums. Sean Mott at Metalcore Nerds, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm honored to be your Schnookums, TJ. Honored. And I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to talk about this. I'm interested to see where you guys fall on the side of Stranger Things fandom, which I don't know if I've seen a fandom turn as fast as this one. So we'll get into it, I guess.
Hashtag release the volume 2 files. Have you guys seen this?
It's not real. Also,
no, it's not. It's quite hilarious.
There's a section of the internet that thinks. I'm sorry. There's a section of the internet that thinks that there's a Snyder cut version of season 5, where they cut out a ton of plot, and they've made a petition.
Oh, and a time
to try and get this released.
The whole thing is spearheaded by the Bylers, I think, is what I've heard. But I think there are also groups of other shippers of the show that are also pissed about their ship getting done dirty. I was exempt. Hashtag Team Lou Max. Let's go.
Joining us as well, you just heard her, our resident sugar lump. And if Sean is the Schnookums, Caroline is the sugar lump. How are you doing, Caroline? Welcome to the show.
I am so awesome. I have a lot of thoughts. I have an unusual amount of thoughts because that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Team Lumax supremacy.
This, Sean, you brought it up, but it, like you mentioned, we haven't seen, I think, very often this type of. I mean, that's not true. In today's day and age, this type of turn, I do think, happens often now. A lot more than it used to happen. And I think part of it is the classic, when something gets too big and too popular, people don't want it anymore. It's now cooler to hate on it than it is to like it. And then the second thing is, I do think because it's such a ship-driven show, if people aren't getting what they want, that means it's bad. If we are not getting the outcome we want, that means it's poorly written. That means they're doing the characters dirty, when in reality, the story is just going a little bit of a different direction. We got lots to talk about today. I actually think we're going to go ahead and skip what you're watching, just because we have so much Stranger Things stuff to get through. And also, we got so many shows coming this week. We're going to have lots of time to talk about what we're watching. Today, obviously, Monday, we are live talking about Stranger Things. Tomorrow, on Tuesday, we will be live doing our year-end draft, where we talk about all of our favorite programs, TV, movies, maybe some music, some books, some comics, some video games mixed in there for 2025. Wednesday, Sean and I will be back. We're going to be talking Pluribus. We're going to be talking the finale. New Year's Eve, early in the day, before everybody gets to their New Year's Eve plans. We're going to have you covered talking about the Pluribus finale, nice and early. Maybe we mix in some Fallout in there as well. We will see. And then Thursday, we got the Comic Corner. Friday, we are going to be talking about Percy Jackson and the Olympians, episode 5. And this is a really fun episode because I haven't seen the screeners for episode 5. I only saw 1 to 4. And so we have a wonderful, wonderful guest joining us, Erica Ito of the Seaweed Brain podcast. Maybe both co-hosts of the Seaweed Brain podcast, not sure yet, but that's going to be a really fun show on Friday. And then next week, we will be talking about the Stranger Things finale. And so we have lots and lots of fun plans coming up for the next bit. So make sure you hit the like button, help us battle the YouTube algorithm, help us grow this community. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a nice 5-star rating and review. And also you can follow us on socials at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. We got lots of great stuff out right now. You can find our interviews for Avatar Fire and Ash with Stephen Lang and the James Cameron. We're going to have some Wonder Man stuff coming up in the future, in addition to all of those shows we previously mentioned. Skipping through what you're watching. And if there is one thing you just want to bring up briefly, feel free to in this segment as well. But Sean, I will throw it to you first. Spoiler-free thoughts for those 3 episodes that we just got for Stranger Things.
I really liked these 3 episodes. Hot take. I know it's a hot take on the internet right now, but I really, really enjoyed them. And this is why. The reason I love Stranger Things is for the emotional moments. And this volume had a ton of them, in my opinion. A lot of good character resolutions, a lot of good explanations that I guess some people are mad about too. I love the explanation of the Upside Down. I thought it tied everything together in such a way that I was like, wow, that's so smart of how they tied that together. And I just think a lot of people have a very hard time wrapping their head around emotionally complex relationships. And that's fine, I guess, but it's feels so weird to me that some people took certain scenes a certain way. And it has me dumbfounded a little bit. And to top it all together, didn't everyone love Volume 1? I thought everyone was stoked on Volume 1 of this season. And now 3 episodes come out and everyone's like, this season is trash. And I'm like, where did this come from? Did you guys like the first 4, then hated the next 3, and then the next 3 has made the season bad? I truly don't understand it. I'm not saying this is the best season of Stranger Things. I don't think so. I don't know where it lands yet. It depends on what the finale does. But as far as like carrying the storyline and kind of going to the finish line of the show, I think it's doing a good job. It's at least in character for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I feel about it. Is there a ton of expedition jumps? Is there a ton of moments where they pause for dramatic effect? Guess what? That's been in every season of Stranger Things. I hate to break it to you, but some things people are complaining about are things that have been in Stranger Things from day one. So I don't know. I'm just confused by how the show suddenly became bad overnight. That's my biggest thing. If you have qualms, gripes, criticisms, fine. That's fine. That I don't mind. But from it going to whatever it was to just trash, I'm so confused. But I liked it. I liked these 3 seasons. I'm very as it ended, I was like, I'm so stoked to watch the finale. I don't know.
I too am very excited about the finale. I have so many things that we'll get into next, and once we give our spoiler warning, feel free to jump around. We don't got to go exactly episodically, chronologically. Jump to wherever you want when something enters your mind. But I will say I have so many this is stupid moments from these 3 episodes, but none of them actually took away from my enjoyment. Like, it was all the highs. The highs were really high, and none of the things were big enough deals that it was like, all right, this is taking me out of it. There are a few things from like a plot standpoint that if you stop and think about, I kind of feel like, ooh, they missed something there. They missed tying something up there that they could have done really quickly. But overall, I really enjoyed these 3 episodes. I cried so many times. I cried so many damn times in this 3 episode span. Caroline, what were your thoughts on Volume 2?
I'm a bit more mixed. I did not hate them. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Duffers suddenly like got to episode 5 and then like forgot how to write television. That's not true. I just think that there were some choices made and there were some questionable decisions made that I will get into when we talk about spoilers. There was a scene that me and a lot of people misinterpreted. And when I found out what it actually was, I was like, am I stupid, or is that like written? Was that like a well-written scene? I don't know. It was very weird. I felt like I was in the Upside Down when I found out what this scene was. I think you guys both know what I'm talking about, but we'll get to it. There were just also some moments where I was like, okay, like there was a lot of, like, again, the exposition stuff I think is such a hallmark of Stranger Things, but I think, as we're kind of progressing through this season, I almost wanted a little bit more action. Like, I wanted some more moments where like we're gonna act on what we're doing. We definitely got some of that. I just think that like we just had a lot of moments where everyone was just gathered around someone using props to, this is Vecna, and this is us, and we're gonna do this. And they're like using game pieces to explain things or random props, and I'm like, okay, we just had one of those.
There's a lot of those stacked together.
Yes,
like they've always been there, but there's a lot of those. I think one of the things this season is kind of, I don't know if missing is the right word, because the purpose of this season is different than all the other seasons.
Yeah,
but we've always had something going on. They're at school. They're at the mall this season with Scoops Ahoy. Think like there's always been, here's our characters living everyday life, and look at all these terrible things happening to them. This is just, let's wrap everything up. We're bringing everybody together. We're wrapping everything up. And so I understand why they're all of these expedition dumps stacked together, but I do also think it's from like a pure comparing it to previous seasons, it's missing a little bit of that, like you said, action or just storytelling in between.
Yeah, I also think that some of the characters that I was hoping to see a little bit more of from this set of episodes were sidelined a little bit. I thought Will was done. He was comatose for half of it, and he had the biggest cliffhanger from volume 1. And I was like, what are we doing? And then 11, who I wanted to see more of, gets this weird arc with Callie. Again, we'll get into that. And I was like, again, and then, you know, there were some moments with Elle where I was like, okay, I feel like we needed more. And then that's where the whole release the volume 2 files come in, because she was supposed to have, like, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into it because I think it's like, I wanted to believe it so bad because I was like, dang it, that sounds really cool. I wish we got that. But yeah, I thought that there were some main characters that I wanted to see maybe a little bit more of that I wasn't seeing very much. That's also one of my qualms.
It is. So it's interesting where we have one episode left. So it's like, there's so much to do, so much more I want to see. But at the same time, it's a almost 3-hour episode. It's a movie coming. So I guess there is still like a lot of time to go through things. Like we're basically getting a full, it's only one episode, but it is a full another volume essentially.
Yeah, it's an entire movie within itself. I also see the other thing that makes me nervous, and this is my one government, my one like mandated mention of the summer I turn pretty every episode. This reminded me a lot of when season 3 came out this year for that. This was like the series finale. We had no idea that they were going to do a continuation of the show in a movie form. So they were getting to the finish line, and it almost seemed like there was a lot more story to tell. And I'm sort of feeling the same way that I did back then prior to the knowledge of the movie I feel the same way I did as I do now about Stranger Things. I'm like, I know we have like this movie-sized episode coming, but there were, again, so many character moments that I was missing from this. That was a lot of just exposition that I was sort of like, okay, well, this could have been like, come on, let's get some character. Like, I want some other character moments and I think this is also just a side effect of the cast just being massive. And there's one scene in particular that really shows like, oh, this cast has gotten big, and we'll get to that too.
It is especially funny when it's like, it's always been a big cast, and now they've added a new main character. The main character of the season's Holly Wheeler, which I've enjoyed. I think she's done a really incredible job, and I think it's been a good storytelling device to add her. But it is crazy to think about going in, like before we watched season 5, before we watched any of the trailers. Imagine being told Holly Wheeler is the main character of this season.
Right.
Like we would have all just been shocked at that moment. Right.
And I also remember like before the season came out, like Derek was on all the posters, and I love Derek. We all love Derek now, but everyone was like, who the hell is this random kid that is like on the poster that no one knows about? Like, what are we doing? Why are we adding more characters? And Delightful Derek has been a, like, no pun intended, delightful addition to the show. I love Derek. But like, I was like, again, the same thing with Holly. I'm like, why are we spending so much time with these random kids? Like, give me the OG kids. Give me the kids that I watched 10 years ago as kids, now fully grown adults. Like, I don't know.
I think it's hard because the kids are very central to the plot. So it's kind of hard. Like, what people can complain about, but then it's like, what are you going to replace it with? Like, the story doesn't work without the kids. And the kids all connect to season 1 with Will, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's Will's only comatose for 1 episode, let's be honest. And he has 2 very insane breakout moments, one in episode 5, one in episode 7. So it's like, that's fine. That's fine. You know what I mean? My biggest thing, and I said this in volume 1 too, is Elle just seems to be there this season.
Yes. And
she's just kind of there to do 11 things. But again, I think we talked about this in that part, is she's kind of already had her character arc or character growth that like ended in season 4, really. So there's no really room for her to go. I think the big thing for her in the finale is going to be her and Hopper kind of resolving this kind of thing that they have going on this season, I guess. And finally coming to terms with that. And I think that's one of the only really character arcs or character resolutions that needs to be done in the finale, which I think is good. That's what I liked about this season, or this volume, is it is a lot quieter. It is a lot more character and exposition driven. But I think that's good, because as soon as we get to the finale, they're going to be sprinting into the action. You know, just 2 hours of straight, just like go, 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 go. You know what I mean? Which I think is good. And that's exactly what season 4 did.
This was 100%,
I will say, I think
these 3 episodes were putting the pieces in place. It was setting everything up so the finale can just bang.
Yeah, just go, which I think is good. And I think it sets up for like it sets up for the potential for a very satisfying finale. The one thing that I saw someone bring up, and it is a very good point, is like, if you're comparing this to season 4, there's not like very many iconic moments in comparison. Like, I think the Will like realization in episode 4 is
full spoiler warning. We can dive into it now. Everything Stranger Things on the table.
Yeah, so I think the Will moment in episode 4, like the finale of the first volume, was probably the one like iconic moment of this season. But there's no like Dear Billy moment or Eddie playing Master Puppets moment or anything like that. And you know, maybe there'll be one in the finale, but I think like comparing the two, I guess. And I think the volume drop hurt this season to me. Because like I said, for volume 1, everyone seemed pretty positive. I did see some negative stuff, but mostly I put a post out saying, hey, what's everyone's favorite TV show of 2025? And so many people put Stranger Things with 1 volume out. That's crazy. So I don't know. That's the crazy. And I think it's all going to flip in the finale. I bet people are going to love the finale and everyone's going to be talking about how great it is. I would almost bet money that it's going to be that turn.
I don't know, because I think so much of the hate is driven from 1, it's too popular, I don't want to like it anymore. 2, my characters that I want to end up together aren't ending up together, and therefore this is bad. I don't think a lot of it is driven from like we talked about, the criticisms, the dislikes, the critiques. Obviously that is different than the I hate it now, it was the best and now it's the worst. The extreme sides I think will stay there. I did have a couple like silly, like I talked about, I have like just like a list of like so many things that this is dumb, why is this not being addressed, but nothing that really bothered me. Some of them I want to go through as we're talking about individual events, but some I just want to throw out there right now. I didn't notice this in volume 1. I don't know if it was a thing in volume 1 and I just didn't notice, or if maybe this was something that happened halfway through filming. But what's Holly Wheeler's actor's name again? Is it Nell Fisher? Nell Fisher. It looks to me like she got braces halfway through this season and they had to CGI them off. And I just
I kind of see what you mean, like Invisalign, like
like I can't help but notice like there is something there that wasn't there before, and it was just like once I noticed it, I could not notice it. Small stupid thing that does not matter.
I have one of those. I had one of those.
What's your one of those?
Is it the Under Armour shirt?
No, but it does have to do with 11. Here's to preface this: I love Millie Bobby Brown. I think she's great. There were some moments where it way more in this set of episodes than in the last 4. I don't know why. Where she would just sort of mug at the camera. She would just go like. And it was, I don't like, again, people can do what they want with their bodies and their faces. And if she feels like she needed to do that, then that is great. However, you can tell. You can tell. He got what I like to call iPhone face. It is a term to describe someone in a like film or show set in the past where their face just sort of looks like they've seen an iPhone. And and I feel like Millie Bobby Brown, especially now, totally has iPhone face. Like she just would kind of be Mike.
Always
Blue
ready
stealing.
to pose.
Or there's a great moment where she's like the wall rips open and they're trying to get out and she just goes and I'm like, okay, like I love it, but like you can just tell. Like you can just tell. But it's like very stupid. It's just like a stupid thing I noticed. But I don't know. Love you, Millie. Love you, Millie, regardless. Do what you want. Do what you want, Queen.
Thing number 2 for me that I thought was silly. Mike Wheeler goes to the Upside Down for the very first time.
And
he
doesn't
has
really
never
care.
seen the Upside Down before. This is brand new, first, like, fresh eyes on the Upside Down. Not addressed. Not talked about. There's no, like, oh, shit.
Here's the thing. No one has. Anytime anyone's gone the Upside Down, no one goes, oh, wow, I'm in the Upside Down. No one has ever done it. Ever. That's never happened.
There's always
you
like
look back. Someone
Yeah.
brought that up, and I'm like, that is the dumbest argument ever because no one is. You wanted them
It's
to
not
go,
an argument.
Oh,
it's just
wow,
a
I'm
little
in the
silly
Upside
thing.
Down.
Oh, my other weird
When
thing.
somebody sees a new dimension, they should be like, oh shit. Like just some kind of reaction.
No one acts that way though.
Yeah, it's
In
never
the show,
acknowledged
ever.
that he like has never been. Also, the other thing that I noticed, well, we haven't talked about Max yet and the whole Max waking up thing. Max gets this whole great reunion with Lucas. So awesome, so great. Her reunion with Elle was really weird. Like it was 2 seconds of her going, "You're real? Yeah. These are best friends. Max is alive because of her." Max.
She had a bigger reunion reaction with Will, who she's actually never had a connection with whatsoever in this show.
Exactly. I was like, what? Like, because, and here again, with this whole, like, apparently the Snyder cut Stranger Things was like, oh, Will was supposed to go into the Upside Down to save 11, or to save Max and Holly, and that's supposed to explain it. It just seems too good to be true. But now I'm sort of like, yeah, like, why were Will and Max like besties? And her
Will
and
was
Elle
excited because he thought he killed her.
Oh.
He was the spy to let Vecna know where she was in the hospital, and he was relieved that she lived. That's why he was excited.
But like,
That's
more excited than 11, the one who resuscitated her, who supernaturally brought her back to life.
This is the other stupid thing about the hospital. Will was the spy and so because Will spied again, Vecna was able to find out where Max was. How the fuck couldn't he already do that?
Because she's
at the hospital. It's Hawkins. It's the only hospital. She's in a coma. Where else would she be?
Oh my god!
Why send a bunch of demos into a hospital to search every room? That seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah, like you could
just you know big hospitals are?
She's in, like, and then the whole thing with Mrs. Wheeler just like getting up. I'm like, dude, like you were within inches of your death last volume. Like, why are you awake? And then, like,
I love that. I love
it was great. It was awesome. I was like,
I did love that scene
what?
too.
No, it was awesome. But then I was like, weren't you like just unable to talk like seconds like a few days
ago?
She still
barely couldn't. That's what I loved about it. Like she was still just going through it. She was still like,
she was fucked up. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave my daughter. It was silly, but I thought that was a lot of fun. As the Demodogs were going through the hospital, they're like rifling through everything really quickly. They're doing some great hunting. Then as soon as they get in the room with the music playing, they just like lose all sense of ability to find them. But it created a nice dramatic moment. And my final thing was, and I think it's hilarious. Again, this is not a problem. I think it's so funny. Why does no one care about my guy Ted Wheeler? No one cares about
Where
Ted
is
Wheeler.
he?
Where is he? Is he dead? Is Ted alive? Where
you know what I said
gives
while
a
it was
damn
on?
about Ted Wheeler?
After the Karen scene, I was like, is Ted dead? That's what I said out loud. I was like, is he dead? I don't know.
That's what I thought too. I think it's so funny that like we just don't know. He's just gonna show up at the end. I bet you there's gonna be like a little epilogue where everybody's happy and at the end everybody's recovering, and you just see Ted Wheeler strolling with a cane. That's my prediction. Is he's gonna come in with a cane, and that's just gonna be and he's gonna be in the background, and that's gonna be our only indication of Ted Wheeler whether he's alive or not.
Fine. My other weird one was Will's coming out in episode 7.
Let's wait for that.
Oh, we got, okay. I think you know
big
what I'm
moments
about
I still want to talk
my,
about on their own, but just like
about it. Yeah.
small little silly things. Final one. Joyce does not give a fuck about Jonathan. As much as everybody doesn't give a fuck about Ted Wheeler, Joyce does not give a fuck about Jonathan.
She doesn't. Like, really, she does not. Oh my god, it was so funny. She doesn't really. Maybe that's because like she thinks that he's fine, like that, like he can take care of himself.
He's an adult.
Yeah, even if she doesn't know about, like, and she doesn't know that he was inches away from dying.
No,
but she knows he's in the Upside Down, and they can't find him in the Upside Down. Like that's common knowledge. And she's just like, Will. Let's get into it, and because we can talk about Will and Joyce right in episode 5 here, and we get a big Joyce flip that I do think makes sense after seeing Will go full sorcerer mode in episode 4. I didn't think that was out of character. I thought that was actually very moving for her to be like, I was holding you back, and I'm sorry. You're incredible. Like, you are this superpowered being, and you are the key to saving this. I didn't quite get what she was going to with, like, one blow. We're just going to go in there and one blow, and we're going to kill Vecna. Like, why the hell would it be that easy? That would not be, why would it ever be that easy to kill Vecna? And so she did get a little too gung-ho and a little too extra motivational, but it just felt like a little bit of an odd Will so down on himself after doing this crazy stuff. These aren't even my powers. I'm just siphoning it. I'm nothing. I can't do it. But that is Vecna in his head. That is these Vecna thoughts in his head. And that is part of why we need to have this big Will moment in episode 7, because Vecna has placed all of these doubts and all of this shame in his head that he can't possibly be the hero he needs to be until he does accept every single part of himself. Like our girl, oh my gosh, why can't I? Robin, like our girl Robin brought up to him in the previous volume. What were your thoughts on this interaction, Sean, where we pick up episode 5 of, we have the high of episode 4, Will's got powers, and then episode 5, Joyce was kind of like the only one who was like, did no one else see this fucking happen? We should be excited.
Lucas added to it too. Lucas is like, whoa, Will the Wise is real. Like there was like a ton of there was like a ton of like cool validation from his friends that I'm sure he's wanted his entire life, and then getting it from his mom, the one who he thought was overprotective. I think it was like a very important moment to happen. Obviously it kind of backfires pretty bad at the end of a little bit, because her plan does work, sort of, not the final, they didn't, take Vecna out, but what Will was able to pull off was, I think, like, that's like the closest anyone's got, you know what I mean? In one try. I was like, wow, it is a lot of pressure to put on the kid too. He just realized he could tap into these powers, and they're like, hey buddy, we know you just figured this out and whatever, but like, do you want to go and just kill the big bad? It's a lot to put on someone, but he was down for the cause, which was cool, I guess. I guess good for him. But I like the combo.
Part of that from Joyce's perspective was just like, hey, maybe we wait till 11's here. Maybe we wait till 11's here too, and you guys can go try and do it together.
I think it's so hard
we need to combine our powers. Like, what?
They're all kind of
that
like
is, I assume, fighting, what the finale is
like,
going to be, though, right? So like, you got to wait.
Oh yeah. I think it's hard too, because like obviously they don't know a concept of time of like when it's going to be too late. So I think they're just kind of like, we got to try whatever we can. We have no idea when they're coming back. Whatever we can do, we should just do it. We just got to make it work. And that's how I like how they kind of combined plans too, where they're like, oh yeah, we'll go see Mr. Clark. Oh yeah, like they did it multiple things, or they did that plan and the Mr. Clark plan to like have 2 full saves, like what Joyce says. She's like, let's
the dual
throw 2 darts
Sinclairs.
and
We
hope
got Erica and Lucas
one's a bull
both
save.
coming up with their plans. I love that.
Yeah, that was nice. I love the where he's like, my plan's better, or like whatever he said. It was like, it was a good
bigger,
Lucas
better,
line,
longer.
especially to a little sister. Yeah, that was good. That was good. But yeah, it was a good way to set up what this episode would be, I guess.
To be clear, Erica's plan, so much better. Let's Frankenstein revive the Demogorgon who just about killed all of us? No, let's go get the super nerd who taught Dustin everything he knows. Erica's plan is so much better. And it did lead to some very fun moments with Murray and Mr. Clark. I love that they're bringing in Mr. Clark. Like, me, Sean, I love the assembling of a squad. I love that we're bringing everybody together. And Mr. Clark's just like, hey, we need a brain. We need a brain. And it actually does give us some really good moments with Dustin doing some explaining. And Mr. Clark just looking at him like a proud dad. Also, where the hell are Dustin's parents? Where are Dustin's parents?
Anderson in like season 2 or 3, but we have not seen her since.
I think it's only his
Where
mom.
are the Sinclairs?
I don't think his dad's in the picture.
And where the hell is Max's mom? Why doesn't Max's mom care about her daughter in a coma? Why is no one telling Max's mom that she's awake?
Like, where was Max's mom after, like, during this whole 18 months? Like, when, I don't know, when she was in the coma. Like, why was Lucas the only one there? Her own mother doesn't even care.
Her mom did kind of suck, but still,
it's the 80s.
Come on, get in there. It's the 80s. They don't care.
It's MDM. Do you know where your children are? Oh yeah, mine's just in the hospital with a coma. Thanks.
They never told her. Nobody ever told Max's mom that Max was in a coma, and she thought Max was just out hanging out with her friends the whole time.
It's like, oh, hey, yeah, I was in a coma. And her mom's like, what are you talking about? It's like, what's the insurance bill? You talking, like, how much am I paying for this? I live in a trailer park. Like, come on.
I will say, as we kind of get to the next part of this episode, which is the 11 pieces, I am kind of the belief the reason we're getting nothing from 11 in this 3-episode span is because there's going to be some very big 11 stuff in the finale. And they're just kind of like, hey, let's get everybody else's character stuff that we have to address done now, because finale is going to be all about 11 and probably will. And so that's kind of my thought process with it. But I just hate the storyline that she's on right now, because I find Kay to be
Callie. Oh, Dr. K.
No, K, like Agent K, Dr. K, whatever her name is. I find that storyline to be so uninteresting.
Yeah, so do I.
Like, I just think she sucks. I don't really care about the character at all. I think Brenner was a much more interesting villain, and I just haven't found that she's filled that gap really well. And then Kali, I think, sucks too. I hate Kali. I thought the reveal was like, okay, we're bringing her back. This is cool. It makes sense she would be here. I'm happy that they brought her back. And then this stuff through the 3 episodes, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it is bad writing or it's bad storytelling. I'm saying, me as a person, I hate Kali. I think she sucks. Everything about her plan with 11. I
really liked her either.
Why would 11? Every superhero ever could have the thought, there are villains out there. Maybe if I just killed myself, the villains wouldn't be there anymore and they couldn't take over the world.
It's different, though.
I know, because they need her blood, but there are hundreds of examples of that where it's like, if you get taken into the wrong hands, it could be terrible for the world. But it's just a bad plan.
I get it, but she also has a point. Like, they're never going to stop hunting her. Like, Callie is right.
Good.
If there's no Dr. K, there's going to be another one. There's going to be another
11 will snap all their necks.
She'll never live in happiness, though. She'll just be on the run forever.
You will, Nike.
That's better than dying. She'd rather be on the run with Mike and Hop than dead.
Living a life of running for the rest of your life, never knowing where you're going to be captured, that's a good life.
When I have superpowers, yeah,
I'm not saying death is the answer.
I'm going to win that one.
Or maybe let's say that like her power. I think there's a chance that like she gets Ozide, where like someone takes her powers away, and then that like is. I feel like this is such a Duffer Brothers thing to do, because my other qualm is that I wanted a major death or a major casualty in this volume. We never got one, but I think the way that they might do it, and this is a prediction, I think they're gonna take Elle's powers away, and like her blood will change. Like she'll go in Dimension X, Abyss, whatever, and she'll get unsuperpowered, and she'll return to normal, which is like the way, and then which is their way of having like no one else try to hunt Elle down, but also like, you know, keep her alive.
That's how we can have the Mike and 11.
The 11 end game.
Living happily ever after is 11 without powers. I do think that's what's going to happen as well. I don't think she's going to die. I think she's going to get depowered. What do you think, Sean?
I think she's dying. 1,000%.
You think she's dying?
You think she's going?
Mm-hmm. I think evil Callie is also a red herring. It feels way too obvious. I did see a theory though that
she's like working with Vecna.
She's the traitor, because that's
I think it's too easy. It's too easy. I think Will might be the traitor.
I think it's Callie, because I mean that's what Caleb McLaughlin, he like was like, oh, what's the season in one word, and he said traitor.
Oh
yeah, but does it have to be her? Don't you think it'd be a little more surprising if it was someone that wasn't obvious?
It feels almost a little too easy, but I also would like see why if it was.
The theory that it's Mike, I think, is very interesting. Of that just like you sent that to me, Sean. You sent that edit to me of like, it's been Mike all along. That to me is actually very interesting.
Yeah, like Mike.
That would be crazy.
I heard theories that Mike was going to get Vecna'd at some point, and that never happened because they don't really know what to do with Mike.
Unless it already has. And he's just been steering
TJ made a good point
direction the whole time.
TJ made a good point with Volume 1, and I feel like Mike's role in the season has been way more important than people let it out to be, because he's become the leader. He has become the heart, like was set up in Season 4. He's the one always having those like tough conversations with people to be like, no, you can do this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like he's been like the spine of this season, which I actually really like. Like, I think people are like missing that a lot. Like I like how he's been like the leader of the group. It's been really like cool and refreshing, and the growth of his character has been. I like it.
I agree 100%. Like he is kind of. The turn would I think would be a big surprise and would be cool, but if his arc is essentially just already complete, that Mike is the leader he's been trying to be now, I see that. I feel like that has been reached appropriately, and it's been a good story for him. Final parts on the first episode to touch on, we do get some fun like Max, Holly, Derek moments where delightful Derek is being delightful, and then Holly's like, we're gonna need dipshit Derek for this one. It's fun. It's kind of put a nice cap on the fun Derek story we've been getting. Obviously, he's still in it the next couple episodes, but not in the same extent of delightful Derek that we've had him in. And then, of course, Nancy shoot first, ask questions later. Wheeler, who now just is full on sniping people from the top of vehicles, and like she's a better shot than Hopper now. Like she's locked in.
Oh, I love her so much.
She is going to shoot first and ask questions later. It is not a shield generator. Dustin's theory was incorrect. It is not a shield generator. It is exotic matter, because we get the big wormhole reveal in the next episode. Any episode MVPs from the first one that we want to talk about, or should we just dive right into the next one?
I just want to say Derek, because he says your mom to Vecna, which is
he gives Vecna your mom joke.
Yeah, he just says your mom to a interdimensional wizard. Good for you, Derek.
It's fucking awesome.
You rock.
Where is Derek's family right now? Are they still just like
they're at home, or they're still passed out? The farm.
They're like still up there, like tied up. I don't know.
They're sitting there like, what the hell? As we pop into the next
save
episode,
us. Oh, the police chief is he's in the Upside Down. Never mind.
Oh, Sean, we get the reveal in the next episode that the Upside Down is in fact a wormhole. They're trying to break through that wall. They think Vecna's on the other side. Vecna is not on the other side. The other side is space. It's just nothing. It's dark matter. Who knows what it is? And the Upside Down, there were many people who had been having this theory. There were breadcrumbs of it being laid all throughout volume 1 of this season. What were your thoughts on the reveal? What were your thoughts on how it was explained?
I loved it. I saw some people say I could have thought of that in 5 seconds, but then I was like, what would you have rather seen? And they never gave me an answer. So that's funny. So I don't know what weird theories that people wanted the Upside Down to be that would have been better. I don't know. But also R.I.P. Steve's car. There was a massive death in volume 2. You guys are totally overlooking. Steve's car is now dead. It's done. Floating in the abyss and floating in the nothingness. But that paired with what is revealed about Will and how Vecna used Will while he was sleeping to create tunnels from Dimension X / the Abyss to Hawkins via the Upside Down, like how they connect all those pieces made so much sense to me and made everything click in such an impressive way to me. I love that pretty much each season the Duffers have kind of laid out like a new kind of piece of the Upside Down that keeps building and building and building, and then to have this be the whole encapsulation. There's an amazing illustration that someone made of a wormhole that has Hawkins, the Upside Down in the middle, and then the Abyss at the top. That looks awesome for like an awesome visual representation of it, and it makes perfect sense of how he had to start with the Demogorgons because 11 opened the gate and created that bridge, and then how it just kept going up and up and up, and how he needed the 4 deaths to crack open the thing, and why he needs the kids to close the gap and combine them. Like, to me, it all makes sense. Like, I was like, that's a cool explanation. And they tease it in season 1 when Dr. Clark talks about parallel dimensions. You need that wormhole to connect the two. There needs that plane when you fold the piece of paper and poke through. The middle is the Upside Down. They just thought the Upside Down was the alternate dimension. But I did have that question in season 4 when they finally show like Henry becoming Vecna. When he's in that, like what we now know is the Abyss, I was like, is that part of the Upside Down? Like we always had that question. You're like, is that the same place? And like, but if the Upside Down was created in that day, like how did the Demogorgons just come up? And now that explains everything. So I thought it was a really cool explanation. I was kind of shocked to see people kind of mad about it, I guess. I don't know. Like, to me, it makes perfect sense, especially being like a sci-fi like lover and nerd, like Einstein Rosen Bridge, wormhole. Like, it all makes sense. I don't know.
My question now is, what's the difference between the Abyss and what was the place? Dimension X.
I think they're the same thing. I think they're talking about the same thing. Just
and I think that must be something that's going to get revealed, because Sean Levy was asked about it, and he's like, I don't think they're the same thing, but I guess you'll have to ask the Duffers. And so I assume that's going to be something that is talked about more in the finale, just based on that response, because that response was very much like, I can't tell you anything.
The Duffers seem to say just they are the same thing.
I have a question. Wait, no, this was the new question. So when Matt, starting back in Dear Billy, when Max is doing the whole running up that hill sequence, she's in like this weird red world. But then when Holly's in what I'm pretty sure is the Abyss with all the other kids, they're in like orange worlds. Does this do you know what I'm talking about? Like, the visuals are way more like warm colored orange. The same thing when Henry gets turned into Vecna in season 4.
The red world is in Vecna's brain.
Yeah.
Oh,
whereas those kids are now physically in the Abyss with Vecna.
Because, okay, that makes sense. Because I also am interested in like what they're gonna do, because Lego can't release their Creel House Lego set until like January 1st, after season 5 is fully out, because the big mechanic of it is that the Creel House splits up and it becomes like there's like parts of it that are red, and they're like, oh no, this is a spoiler, but like you don't know what it means yet. And I think I think we'll be revisiting like split up Creel House in the finale based on the fact that Lego is very like gung ho about the whole like we cannot release this any earlier.
I am very excited to what we find out regarding all of it, but to keep us going here in episode 6, there are 2 big relationship conversations that we need to dive into. First thing we can talk about is Nancy and Jonathan, where they have their Titanic-esque sitting on the board while everything is melting or, you know, filling with water around them. I've heard some people compare it to the Star Wars trash compactor scene where they're just like, shit, we're gonna die, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. And the biggest, I watched that scene and I thought, damn, I kind of thought that they should die. I really thought that would have been a really fitting death scene of like, we figured everything out, but it was too late. This is why we got to talk. You got to talk about your shit earlier. Like, I thought from a storytelling perspective, that would have fit pretty nice. But I do think they want just everybody to be there going into the finale to be all squatted up together.
Yeah.
But John, you and I talked about this. The confusing part that I think some people had, in Caroline, I want to throw it to you to see if this is what you were referring to. Yeah. But a lot of people did not realize that was a breakup.
I did not. I have my reaction video of me watching this scene, and I'm like, yes, Jancy, they figured themselves out. Like, I planted this seed in 2017. Like, we're so back. I go on Twitter. There's an article by the Duffer Brothers they interviewed with People magazine before volume 2 dropped, and they indicated that, yeah, that was a breakup scene. And let me tell you, I was shocked, and I don't know if it was the writing of the scene, the performances, because then I see an interview with, you know, Charlie Heaton and Talia Dyer, and it just like almost seemed like that's what they were going for, was like a love confession, because the whole scene, to me at least, at first, did not play out like a breakup. I thought the unproposal was like, we don't have to get married, or I don't need to propose to you to kind of like, you know, a ring isn't going to solve our problems, and we don't need to do this because we've always been unconventional. Like, we are an unconventional couple. We don't need to do this. This is not our, like, we can figure ourselves out maybe later down the line, but we need to settle our differences. There are things that we just can't communicate on. Let's work on that and get better. And then they realized that all of the weird melted plastic was hardened and they could get out. They survived. They're like hugging, their forehead kissing, like they're smiling. Like, it seemed like they did not just break up, essentially, is what I got from it. And I don't know, is my media literacy problematic, or was that scene just very confused? Like, were the creators, actors, writers, etc., confused on what the goal of that scene was? I don't know.
I thought it was very clear they broke up.
What?
So much so that the ending scene is a wedding ring on the floor in front of them. That could not be a more "we're broken up" than that is the most visual "we're broken up" than I've ever seen in my entire life. To me, because how old are you?
23.
Early 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be why. To me, it seemed like a very healthy mutual breakup between the two of them, being like, they even admit our relationship was formed in trauma.
No, yeah, I think they realized that. Yeah, I got that from that too. Yeah.
There's a certain thing where like, you need to be on your 7th or 8th breakup to really realize, to lock into it, Yeah. You gotta have been dumped a few times to really lock into it. Because that was, like my niece, who is 20 years old as well, 19 years old, also didn't realize it at first until she went online and went through things. But the biggest part to me that kind of locked it in was the conversation of how suffocating their relationship is, and they just want to be able to breathe on their own and figure themselves out. And I kind of took it as we are closing the door on our relationship. It's not locked though. 20 years down the line, I don't know that Jonathan and Nancy aren't together. You know what I mean? That was a breakup right now. They are no longer together right now. But I don't know that that's a forever thing. It's very much to me, it was Nancy more than Jonathan. Like, I kind of feel like if Nancy was like, I don't want us to break up, Jonathan would have been like, cool, me neither. But to me, that was like Jonathan presenting the idea because the current way that their relationship goes isn't working. And so he unproposes. He says, we need to take a step back. And Nancy says, it's not because of Steve, but like, I don't think we should do this anymore. And he says, it's because of Steve. And she says, no, it's not because of Steve. I don't want to be with Steve either. I want to figure myself out. I don't want 6 nuggets coming out of my body. I got to figure out what I want. Because so much of Nancy's character and how she's been perceived throughout this show
has been in the context of the love triangle, 100%.
Context of who she's dating, who she's interested in. When we meet her, she's blowing off her friend because she wants to be with, and don't get me wrong, I think what's her face sucks. Who was the person in the first Barb? I think Barb sucks.
Barb?
But anyways.
Oh yeah, I don't like Barb either. I grew up and I
meet her blowing off her friend to be with a boy. And now at the completion of Nancy's arc, it makes sense to me that she's going, the boy doesn't matter. This is my story. I need to figure out who I am and what story I want my life to be. And that doesn't mean it's attached to Jonathan or it's attached to Steve. Maybe it will be one day when I figure out what I want. Maybe one of them will be what I want. But I don't know that yet. And I sure would love the time to figure it out. I love that part. Whereas like, I really thought I would have the time to figure it out. That hits so hard of as you think they're about to die. I don't know anything, but I just kind of thought I'd have a chance to figure it out. And that to me hit really hard. And that was like one of why I thought it was going to be a death and why I thought it almost should have been was that hits hard. Yeah. That hits hard of, I really thought I was going to have a chance to figure it out. But that's kind of, that was my interpretation of it. Not necessarily a locked door forever, but a shut door for right now.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is you think about these, the characters are like 20 years old or something, 19, 20. They're young. They shouldn't be like thinking about marriage at that age. And I know it's the 80s. A lot of people got married young, whatever, but like, that's a lot.
I know.
Ask of someone. And
thinking about that.
I was so mad about the ring thing. I was like, there's no way this motherfucker's proposing. I was like, get out of here. But when they addressed it like that, I was like, good on you guys. Wow. I did not expect it to go that way. This is very smart. This is a very mature, complex, emotional conversation. I respect the hell out of it. It makes sense why you viewed it that way. Again, like you are very young, and that's not a knock to you whatsoever. It is a like, but to me, it felt like a very mutual, like, hey, we're being adults about this. We do not work, at least right now, until we both, because Jonathan needs to figure himself out too. Like I think it's kind of a Duffer Brothers problem too, in a way, but like, I'm glad Jonathan, at least in these last few seasons, has had one scene where I'm like, okay, they did something with him.
Yes.
He had the nice convo with Will last season, and I was like, well, they did something with Jonathan. That's fine. No one cares about Jonathan other than Nancy, I guess, but his friends for now.
Yeah. But no, I also wanted Jancy to get together because I think that Natalia Dyer and Charlie Heaton are super cute, and they met on this set, and they've been dating for the past like decade or so because of Stranger Things. I'm sorry, that is so cute. That's also just like me being young and being like, oh my god, like I love love. I don't know.
They have it in real life. It's fine.
Yeah, they're
Nancy
fine.
needs to be an independent woman.
No, she does. Team Nancy. Team Nancy always. Send her to Paris. She'll find herself there. All the girlies do. All of them. Okay.
I hope that's in the finale. She's like, I'm going to Europe.
That just happens on every girl just goes to Europe and figures it out. Like, yeah.
I know the spinoff. It's called Nancy in Paris.
Oh, I'd live for that. We got to have every like female character that's gone to Paris to find themselves like meet up and like in front of the Eiffel Tower, just a giant conference of everybody. Like it'd be a bigger table than you'd think, I think.
While we did have one breakup, we had one makeup as well, and that is finally between Dustin and Steve, where it was so uncomfortable all season long, where it starts out and it's kind of like, ooh, this makes sense, but it sucks. I need my guys to get back together. This is the relationship in the show that I care more about than any other relationship. I need my guys, Steve and Dustin, to be
besties,
an ensemble, to be besties. And it was at the point right before this where it was literally just getting annoying. It was at the point right before this where I was like, hey, fuck off, you two. Just don't talk. Yeah. Just don't talk. But the world is on the line. Figure your shit out at another time and stop bitching at each other. And then we finally get it. Actually, before we get it, we get the fight. We get the fight where
Steve kind of calls Eddie dumb, which
Steve is out of line.
That was a bad move.
Steve is totally out of line.
Dick move.
But he was also kind of right.
Yep. I think bad timing to say that to Dustin, but I don't think he was necessarily wrong. I think
Eddie did not need to die.
No.
Eddie could, Dustin could have been safe without Eddie doing what he did. Eddie had to prove to himself that he wouldn't run.
Yeah.
And so
it was a selfish and selfless act at the same time, for sure.
Yeah. Eddie had to prove to himself that he wouldn't run anymore. And so for Eddie, it made sense, but it wasn't a sacrifice. It was, I need to prove I'm not a coward. No. And so and I think Dustin is very much in his mind thinking of it as a sacrifice. He is in Dustin's mind trying to play it up to Eddie was perfect. Eddie has never done anything wrong. Eddie didn't have anything to prove to himself because he was already perfect. And he died saving all of us. Because that's what makes the most sense in his mind, because that's the easiest way to grieve his friend, is he was perfect.
Yeah.
And because he's not here anymore.
Right. There was also this moment where I realized, because Steve was bringing up, I was like, this Eddie doing that was kind of dumb. And I was like, well, yeah, because Eddie himself, I mean, I don't know if because he is 20 years old and still in high school.
Yeah, he's the smartest guy I knew.
He's the smartest guy
3 years or something.
Of the
he was a super senior. I don't know, Dustin. I think you're the smartest person. I don't know what to tell you.
If it's not you, it's Erica. Yeah. If it's not you, it's Erica. Dustin. Exactly. Those are the two smartest people you know.
Or Mike. But Mike's a smart guy.
Mike
from the fight leading into, I can't lose you two. That solidified for me that, we talked about how Sadie Sink is maybe on another level than some of these other actors of the same age that have started this show together. And I do think Caleb McLaughlin and Gatton Matarazzo are maybe on that level too.
Yeah, especially Caleb.
And this scene particular solidified it for me, because this was kind of the first time we've seen Dustin be anything other than silly or moody. Dustin kind of always fits in a very similar box, and he showed a level of range here that we haven't seen from him yet in this show. And I just thought it was incredible. And I think a lot of that is probably because, what have those three specifically, Gatton Matarazzo, Caleb McLaughlin, Sadie Sink, what have they been doing in between Stranger Things seasons? They've been on stage working on Broadway. The others, kind of chilling. Kind of chilling. These three have been grinding on Broadway. And so it makes sense to me, but God, that scene was good. I wish it was longer. I wish the makeup was longer. I felt like we got so much of them hating each other. I would have liked to see the catharsis moment go a little bit longer, but
that's why I liked how there's 2 parts to it.
I can't lose. Yeah. The second part was later as well, but I can't lose you two. Oh God. It was so good. It was so damn good. It was
and the ladder falling after, my heart dropped. I was like, he's like, wow, you really just saved my life. I was like, oh my God, that was brutal. That broke my heart, but in the best way. And why does A have to die if her blood doesn't work?
Chat from Water.
I think she's just ready to die.
Yeah, I think she's ready to go.
I think she just gave up on life.
That's it. I don't. That's right. I don't think it has to die for her plan. I just think she's like, let's all go out together. My life fucking sucks, Let's just all go out together. And that's why I think she sucks too, because I think she's projecting that onto 11. Yeah. I don't think 11 has to die. 11 is a superhero. 11 can figure her shit out.
Yeah. Also,
on a life on the run. But I think 8 is projecting her own depression
on 11. And I also hate that she uses her illusions to almost like gaslight 11. She's done it. She did it in the Lost Sister, and she's doing it now. And I'm like, oh my God, like the moment where they showed the illusion of Elle, like in the same like white suit and in the like big chamber, I was like, oh my God, like you suck, dude. Like, you suck.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was really brutal. So bad.
Caroline, anything else on Dustin and Steve you want to add here?
I think I said it pretty much all that I also think. I thought the scene was great. I thought it was really well done and performed. I thought it came at a really good moment because I was also getting exhausted with those two fighting. I was like, come on. One thing though, I think in general, I hope for the finale, while I do love Dustin and Steve together, I do kind of miss Dustin being with his pals of his similar age group. I feel like he's with Steve a lot, and I know Steve and Dustin are absolute favorites, and I like totally understand why. I think Steve is awesome. I adore them. I thought that was like a lightning in a bottle pairing. But hopefully in the finale, I hope we get the group of 5 plus Max that I see here on my bottom left of my screen. Like, I want to see that party together.
Here's
doing something like with just with the kids. I don't know. Like I need to see them not with like the kids as in the Stranger Things kids, not the new ones.
Here's the thing, and here's why I kind of think Elle will be depowered. All of them survive this because group of 5 started out together. You add Max, that's 6. What does Steve want?
6 kids.
6 kids.
6 little nuggets.
They'll just all go under Steve's kid. They'll just live in a commune.
Steve's their dad. Steve is their caretaker, and all of them just get to hang out, play D&D.
He already has 6 little nuggets. He doesn't need Nancy to just be like churning them out like
I think
butter.
that's why he said 6, though. You know what I mean? That's why he said 6 for sure. It wasn't just a random number he picked. That's why.
Even subconsciously, even if it was a random number he picked, that's where 6 is from.
Yeah.
The hospital adventure.
It's hard because. Oh yes.
You go.
I was gonna say it's hard about the pairings with the finale because I feel like Will's gonna be with Elle and 8, at least for a majority. Like they're gonna be in the.
Or you know what? I think it's Will, Elle, Max, and 8, which that'll be really fun because again, I love Elle and Max together. I think they're like love that duo so much. I was really
to help
Elle's lack of reaction
to help navigate the Vecna's mindscape.
Yeah, that'll be so fun. I can't wait for that. When I heard they were gonna like be paired up for the finale, I was like, yes. Give me my Elle Max. They're great.
Everything about the little hospital adventure at the end, I think season 5, episode 6, I do think it is one of the best episodes of Stranger Things. I think it is top 5-ish. And just because of all the highs in this season, in this episode, the Nancy and Jonathan, the Dustin and Steve, the truth about the upside down, Max fighting her way through Camazotz with Holly to get through. I think there's a lot of spots specifically with the little hospital adventure of, I loved it, but Karen Wheeler becoming a superhero and a genius of, hey, I can just throw the oxygen tank in the laundry machine and blow them up. The demidogs being expert hunters and then not being able to find the kids despite them holding a boombox with music coming out of it. Fucking Max, not running up the hill. Run up the hill, Max.
Oh, yeah, I had the same thing.
The damn thing closed last time because you weren't fast enough. Go faster, Max.
No, when she kept talking to Holly, I was like, wow, this would be a really great monologue if it wasn't happening right now. Let's move. Let's go, girl. Come on.
And it was necessary for Holly. Yeah. And I put in my notes, I put like, eat Sadie, eat, because she was incredible for this monologue. Sadie. But I'm sitting there thinking, this motherfucking portal might close. And then Sadie, and then Max is going, well, it's not going to close. Because I don't need the music anymore. I just needed him.
Oh my god!
Which, don't get me wrong, I am not criticizing the moment it gave between Max and Holly or the moment it gives between Max and Lucas, because those were fucking incredible. But how did you come to that conclusion, Max? Because the music was playing before and the portal was open and then it closed when the music stops. Right now, when you are making this conclusion, music's still playing. So how do you know that when the music shuts off, it won't shut too? Where did you come to that conclusion?
The reason why is because when the music stops the first time, Lucas, he stops holding her hand because he needs to play the music. So it wasn't really the music, it was Lucas letting go of her hand that made it stop.
It was just funny because the music didn't stop. This time, the music was playing the whole time. So I feel like there could have been like
I am convinced that they did that scene for it to be memed. I am like actually convinced, because it's funny because like my wife was like, "Fucking run! What do you do?"
Yeah, and then I hate it when like they're showing
there's so
Max
many
and
TikToks
Holly,
about it,
like both running.
They did that,
and Holly is like running for her life, and Max is just there jogging. She's taking her time. I was like, "Come on, come on!"
I was texting Sean in that moment because he was like, he basically was starting the episode 2 while I started episode 1, and episode 3 while I was on episode 2. So he was like an hour ahead. And so I'm texting him and I'm like, Max, the song's called Run Up That Hill. It's not called Slowly Saunter Up the Hill. Run!
I think they also like they played the exact same like version of Running Up That Hill, and I was like, guys, this isn't Dear Billy. I hope you guys know that. Like it's cute.
There was a very new
when it transitions.
There was a there was a new with Running Up That Hill mixed in with the score that I thought was beautiful during that conversation. I thought
there was. It was like a piano score while during the monologue. I was like,
it was beautiful. I was like, wow, that is good stuff. I guess it's another thing. There hasn't been very many
needle drops.
Not that stick in my brain needle drops this season.
Yeah.
That I can think of.
No, it was really just Tiffany.
Maybe that's something that's missing.
Fernando, and Upside Down. Those are really the big ones. I hope we get more. See, this is the other thing. Apparently, someone on the weird Google, the Snyder Cut Google Doc was like, The Cure was going to be in a scene with Will and Mike. Come on. I don't know.
Get out of here.
Get
out of here.
They're the most random, like, they're just, oh god, that's so funny. And then it's like the reliable source on Twitter. Like in the top of the Google Doc, it says the reliable source on Twitter. And I'm like, oh, the reliable source on Twitter?
Cool. So someone made it up and said, these are the things I want, and therefore these are the things that got cut. But I will say one more
on the volume 2 Snyder Cut files. I think it's so funny.
One more Max note.
It's such a wild thing.
I know.
If I am Holly Wheeler, I am fucking pissed. I don't care how great of a motivational speech Max gives me, but for her to not
she did her so dirty. Dude.
Oh, by the way, you can't come with me until they get to the end. Fuck you, Max. That's so mean.
But I sort of feel like maybe.
And by the way, no big deal. You're just gonna wake up in Vecna's lair. Super easy to get out of, right? No problem.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to the whole, hey, you're gonna be in the Upside Down. Just kidding, you're not. Poor Holly. Holly fucking goes through it. Holly goes through it next episode. But shout out to Holly, heroic Holly. Everything about the heroic Holly is so incredible. And I love that. I love that. I love that she has her own portal. I love that she gets through. But I was sitting there being like, Max, what the fuck? Why couldn't you tell her this a little bit earlier that she couldn't go with you?
Or also, I sort of feel like that should have been discussed earlier, because obviously if Max and Holly's physical bodies are in different places, then that means that, like, where would Holly end up if she were to go with Max through Max's portal? Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd rather share a brain and body with Max for the rest of my life than have to go through what Holly went through in the next episode.
It's like Freaky Friday, but it's like instead of just two people's brains just occupying one body, and it's like... that would be weird. That'd be really weird. That's a weird concept to introduce, like, right before your series finale, but who knows? But guys, the Lumax reunion.
as much as we get to the next episode, season 5, episode 7, the penultimate, right before the finale. As much as there was so much silliness and ridiculousness with how Max went about things for in that end of episode 6, the setup of the reunion between Lucas and Max, and if we don't get a fucking scene of the two of them at the movie, I need them to go to the movie. Oh my gosh, it was so sweet. I only needed you. Are you sick of that song yet? No, are you? Yes. Everything about that scene, Caroline. This is, I know, one of your favorite ships. Throw it to you. It's incredible. I love this scene so much.
Oh my God, I couldn't have asked for a better reunion between those two. It was just so, like, this was the moment that I was most excited for, was for Max to wake up. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was coming, but man, I was so emotional watching this. I think that Caleb and Sadie have such natural chemistry. Like, their chemistry just like bursts off the screen. Like, it just, like, their eyes were fixed on each other the whole time. Like, I also just love that Lucas after this, like, never really, like, let Max out of his sight, like, was pushing her wheelchair, was so cute when they went into the squawk. He, like, played her the silly little, like, just did such Lucas things. And I was like, oh my God, like, I missed her so much in, like, the fold of just the regular group. I just, like, am so excited to see what, how she melds in with everybody else for the finale. But man, that was such, like, they did such a great job with that, the build up and the payoff. So good. Oh, one thing I did want to bring up though, why did Max, like, not freak out when she realized that Hopper was alive? Because when she goes down for the coma, Hopper is still in Russia. He is presumed dead. This is my big issue.
Because she's been, but I think, hasn't Lucas been talking to her this whole time? So she would have known.
No, but it's never indicated to Max that, like,
I think it's like an unsaid thing. Like, it's been shown that he's been telling her everything that's going on. So he would obviously bring that up. So that's why it's not a surprise. She would have already known.
Oh, you think she would have already known? I don't think she knew. And I don't know. I wish she had, like, I wish she'd been like, what the hell? That would have been funny.
There's all these weird things of people bringing up. They like, oh, why didn't someone recognize this? And why didn't someone recognize that? And it's like, does that really matter? Like, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it really matters.
My one big misstep though was in season 4 on the camcorder. It lists Will's birthday is canonically March 22nd, but then Mike and Elle and Will go to the roller rink on March 22nd, but nobody brings up that it's Will's birthday. Nobody. I'm like, what?
There are a lot of things like that where I think the Duffer Brothers just had a little too much dip on their chip and tried to make a few little retcons with the stage show and things like that don't line up with timelines they put in. Mm-hmm. But it's like, as a Star Wars fan, shit doesn't bother me. That shit doesn't bother me because that's just like, there's so much of that in Star Wars where someone went, this is the timeline. Ooh, just kidding. We got to make this fit in. And so now this is the timeline. And I feel like there's been a lot of that with Stranger Things over the stage show, season 4, season 5, where they're like, just kidding. This actually happened this way.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Sean, I only needed you. What were your thoughts on the Max and Lucas reunion?
I was like, damn, Stranger Things, you got to make me cry for like a half hour straight. What are you doing? Stop. It was beautiful. It was so amazing. It was a nice touch to like end the episode with like the hospital monitor beeping. I was like, oh man, I would be so happy if this was /mad if this was weekly. And then you're like, no, I need the moment. But what a great way to start the episode on such a high, of seeing them finally reunite. And what a great back and forth. Are you sick of the song yet? No. Are you? Yes. I love that so much. I love that so much. It was great. It's great to see her back. And like, I even love the kind of it's a little heavy-handed, but like I liked the explanation of being like, I can barely feel my body, like it's hard for me to see my it's really bright. And even Vicky, the nurse, being there, being like, you haven't used your body in a while. Stuff's gonna take time, but you'll be fine. I like that.
By the way, Vicky's not a fucking nurse. They brought this up on the House of R podcast. Shout out to Joanna Robinson and Mallory Rubin. Vicky is a few months out of high school and is what is called something like a candy striper or something like that, where essentially her job is just to like change bedpans and to help nurses out. Vicky's not a nurse, and she is giving so much advice as though she is a nurse or doctor in this. It's like, Vicky, you are not qualified to be saying these things.
Oh, I did love Vicky calling Robin a drug addict.
That was
because
pretty good.
If you think about it, because it's probably the first time the whole situation's been explained to someone, and they're like, you're insane. You're addicted to drugs. Like, you're crazy. You need help. And I was like, yeah, that's probably how actually a normal person would react to someone telling them all this stuff, not just be like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's like
that is probably how someone would react.
It's funny because speaking of just like little plot hole and like canon things, the other person that's been like fully explained to an extent is Bob Newby. And Bob was like, what the fuck is going on? This is so crazy.
Okay.
Bob's dad had his eyes ripped out by Vecna. Like, Bob has seen this shit. Bob went to high school with them and then saw Henry in his glory at work in the stage show. He would know about this shit. But that's another one of just those little silly retcons. But Caroline, I want to throw it to you for Holly, because truly, I have it in the notes as Holly's terrible, awful journey. Because she wakes up. She's not in the upside down. She's in the abyss. She's got a Vecna goop-filled hose
attached, just like Will,
that she's got to rip out, throw up all this stuff in her, rip all of her stuff, rip all of this Vecna carcass off of her body. She gets run down as she's trying to escape. She gets knocked out by Vecna. She wakes up. All her classmates are there. She tries to explain to them the truth. They all beat the shit out of her.
I know. I'm so
it's
sad.
Just like,
and then Derek, who is
you forgot that she almost escaped.
Yes, she almost escaped.
And got yoked.
Falls down the sky like to her death, then gets yoinked back up. She really had one of the worst days I think a Stranger Things character has had. And there's been a lot of bad days for a lot of Stranger Things characters. No, I felt so terrible for her. Oh my God. And then to me, like the weird, like the Lord of the Flies style, like no one believes her because she sounds insane. Max is a monster. I mean, really all Holly had to say was like, I know this girl, like she's friends with my brother. But that also maybe would or would not work, like because Mr. Whatsit has all of them in like a trance. And then Derek, he sold hard. Oh my God. He had the chance to be like, no, she's right, you all are wrong. And he did not take it because Vecna threatened his family, even though I think considering the last time we saw all of the Turnbows, I think they're all dead anyways. So I don't think it really would have mattered.
Can't wait for Steve to adopt Derek because Derek has no family.
Their banter would be so good. I'm actually really sad that they did not have Steve and Derek talk more, because that would have been really. I hope they do in the finale. Like I hope Steve is
that one.
Oh my God, Steve would have loved Steve. I need to see Steve and Derek interact once before this show is over.
We get kind of a huge moment at the beginning of the episode, followed by Holly's adventure. Oh, sorry, Sean. You never gave your take on Holly's terrible adventure yet.
Oh, it's just brutal. Like I can't imagine. You go through this whole crazy mind prison journey with Max, only to wake up in the worst possible situation ever to try and maybe I found my way out, but I'm falling. And then, I see my sister. How nice. Nope. Bye.
Did Vecna save Holly's life?
I mean, when she was falling, I was like, what are they gonna do? Catch her?
Yeah, I was thinking like I kind of thought like, are they gonna get 11 or Will somehow to that moment to like catch her or something telepathically? Because she was gonna go splat. As Robin as our girl Robin likes to say, pancaked. Because if Vecna didn't pull her back in, she was getting just absolutely splat.
My intrusive thoughts were like, oh, Holly died. I was like, I think she died, but nope. Yoink, bye, back into the mind prison. Oh yeah, dude, it would have been worse. I think she would have just been goop.
We get multiple like, so we got the big reveals at the beginning of the episode. Then before Will's epic scene at the end, we get exposition dump, exposition dump, exposition dump. We get Will's reveals that he created all the tunnels. Useful, viable, valuable. We get Dustin's reveal about everything's the wormhole. That was my favorite one because as Dustin's breaking everything down, Mr. Clark and Erica are like, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Wormhole. And I just thought that was really awesome stuff. And then we get Steve's plan. We already have a beanstalk. I will say, Dustin calls it genius. Steve's plan fucking sucks. This is another bad plan. Let's not wait until the world is almost destroyed to the last minute. Let's not wait till the last possible second of the world being destroyed to go in and try and fix it.
That's not even my biggest problem with the plan. The worst part about this plan is that they're going to blow up this wormhole connected to the world. You don't think that's going to cause some major problems in your dimension?
Bad plan all
I think
around.
It's going to cause some major problems.
Yeah.
Bad plan all around.
And
I'm
shocked that Dustin... No. And they're setting up the bomb thing is like someone staying with that bomb. That's someone staying with that bomb. Go ahead.
I'm kind of thinking...
But I also think the bomb is going to really... Even if they destroy the bridge and the abyss or whatever, like... That's going to cause some major problems in their real world. There's no way that's going to go unscathed. And that'll be probably my biggest issue is if they do it and it's fine and there's no any ramifications at all, I'll have a problem with that because that doesn't make any sense. That should almost destroy it.
11 for sure. That's my Rebels fans, and I'm not gonna have any. I'm not gonna give context for if you haven't seen Rebels, but I think we might get a Kanan Jarrus moment with 11 at the end and a certain bomb in the abyss.
She protects the world from the blast.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I can see that as well.
She like severs it or something.
I also think that what we're gonna get is either. I think Steve's plan's not going to work. When these worlds start coming together, I think it probably just fucking destroys that tower. And I don't think it's going to like go through it like they think and be a beanstalk. I think it's probably just going to destroy it. And then I think one of two things will happen. Either one, 11 learns to fly, and she basically force pushes herself off the ground and up through into the abyss, through the wormhole, through the exotic matter, whatever it is. And she basically just Jedi pushes herself up there, or I think Will make a literal beanstalk out of the vines in the Upside Down.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Also, can we talk about how the scene of Jonathan and Steve climbing up the radio tower and now essentially means nothing?
Well, I think that actually scene was crucial. Because although it means nothing for Nancy, it's where Steve's plan came from. Steve doesn't think of Operation
true.
Beanstalk.
He doesn't think about it until
Beanstalk.
True. Whatever. I just thought that scene was cringe.
It was cringe, especially because the CGI was terrible.
Macho cringe.
It was so bad.
It was macho cringe, and it had terrible CGI. We can make Vecna look incredible, but the top of that tower was the clearest green screen I've ever seen in my life.
It was so bad.
Alas, we get the episode ends with Vecna essentially being like, "Haha, my little culty children, you're all under my control now. Dum dum dum. But the last thing I really want to spend time with is Will's coming out scene, because for multiple reasons. One, I think it was so wildly crucial to the show and his character. Will could not self-actualize without, one, accepting who he is, and two, stop hiding who he is. Because with these secrets inside him, Vecna can control him. Vecna uses his shame, his secrets against him. That's why this is so important to the character. So I did see some people be like, this was a stupid time. This was just like the Max thing. It's not the time to give a pep talk or confess your truth. It was the time for Will. Will had to. Will could not go into that final battle without having to.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of criticisms with the scene have a lot to do with people just disliking Noah Schnapp. And I think a lot of that is fair because Noah Schnapp's an asshole in real life. Or at least has done some asshole things. I've never met him. I haven't conversed with him. But he has publicly done some asshole things regarding a genocide. Now, I do think that there wasn't anything wrong with a writing or performance perspective from this scene in particular. There are a lot of Noah Schnapp scenes where I look at it and go, damn, he is not as good of an actor as some of these other young adults are in this show. Yeah. This scene, I thought he did very well. And I thought it was interesting how he had an interview afterwards where he was essentially saying, like, I tried to pull a lot of this from my own real life experience. A lot of this scene and Will's journey parallel my own, with my own sexuality, with my own personality. And I thought that was very, and then he said, and obviously that was a lot harder to do in the 1980s than it is now. I did it publicly on my TikTok, and that's not an option for Will. It wasn't accepted in the 80s. And so I thought that was actually a really interesting conversation. And it was awkward and Robin-esque the way he was blurting stuff out. But I think that makes sense because Will is awkward. And who did he learn this courage from? Robin. And so I thought that made a lot of sense. I was bawling during this scene. Seeing Jonathan's reaction, seeing Joyce's reaction, seeing Mike's reaction, seeing Robin's reaction. I was bawling. I thought it was a really, really, at times, like, maybe a little goofy, maybe a little long, but above all else, powerful and necessary. What do you think, Caroline?
Okay. I think for the most part, the positives you talk about, I agree with. I thought the monologue was well done. However, and Noah Schnapp has talked about this, and I almost kind of agree with him, that the choice to have everybody in the room and it framed like this weird like conference with this cast, most of whom he's never spoken with, to have Vicky in the room, to have Steve. Will and Steve have never spoken. Like, I thought that was a choice. I thought at most it should have been the five other members of the party, Jonathan and Joyce, and maybe Hopper. If you wanted to expand it beyond his immediate family plus Mike. I think Mike should have been there no matter what. I think, and maybe, I guess, like, the motivation behind it was
he's talking about him.
What?
When Mike realizes that he's talking about him, it's just like,
oh, it's so good. It's really, really good. But the one, like, and I guess I understand the motivation behind having everyone there because everyone needs to be aware of, like, the fears, like what Vecna is going to try to prey on as they're all trying to do this. That, like, makes total sense to me. But I think just, like, it was so, like, heavy-handed. It was just weird, like, watching this scene, and then there's just being, like, a giant group of people in the 80s during the middle of the AIDS crisis that are just okay with it. And I get that this is like a show, for outcasts, and I get that's kind of been like one
how
of the
fucking hilarious would have been if Ted Wheeler was in the room and he was just like,
these gays,
not for me. I don't like it.
Yeah, like that is. I thought, I was like, there's 20 people in the room, and like Was Mr. Clark there? Murray was there. Like
Murray and Mr. Clark are just like, what is going on right now?
And Vicky, who's never spoken to this kid, and this kid's like, yeah, he's my Tammy. And then Vicky's like, Robin, what the hell did you tell him? And that was sort of, I was like, and then at the end, and like, this was so corny, but maybe it was a little necessary when they're all like, and me. And I was like, fine, you win this round, Duffers. I just had like, that was kind of my biggest qualm with it, is just having everybody there. I thought that and it took them 24 hours in total to film, 12 on the initial production and 12 on
because Noah Schnapp's bad at acting.
Clock it.
Well, the Duffer said that his first take of just on him was the one they used, I think, but they had to film it from every angle of like 30 people, so they had to just keep filming it from different angles. That's why it took so long.
Did Will call everyone together?
That to me is the biggest problem with the
scene.
Is that everyone's
together to hear the plan.
No, because at first it was just him and Joyce.
And then Mike comes in and just stands there. First it was just him and
Joyce. Then Mike comes in and he's like,
"Oh yeah," and he's like, "Hey, everybody,
he's like, no, bring everyone in." Because I think, and I totally get your sentiment. It is a little weird that he's confessing this to like a bunch of people he like borderline doesn't know, but he knows they're about to go into this final battle. I think he's unburdening himself, so it's not a secret at all to anyone he might know or be associated with, especially in this final battle. He's like, I'm letting it all out there. But I get it.
I understand the motivation behind it. I was just like, this looks and feels funny.
It took away maybe a little bit of like time and emotion you can put into Jonathan and Joyce and Mike, just because all those other people are there and you're doing those reaction shots. Like, I think a little bit more intimate would have been strong. But the same thing for Will's perspective, it's basically I'm not ashamed. It doesn't matter who's in the room. It's about me. It's very much like Eddie, right? Eddie wanted to prove that he wouldn't run. Yeah. And Will wanted to prove that he's not ashamed of who he is. Doesn't matter who is there. Yeah. I need to prove that I'm me, and the me that I am is not just okay, it's powerful.
Yeah.
And I think that's essentially why it was like hey, everybody, screw it. I thought for the scene, I agree with Caroline, it looked a little weird, but thinking about it from Will's perspective, I do think it makes sense. My biggest theory going into the finale that I wanted to touch on was, I think I'm with you, Caroline. I think 11 gets Ozide. I think she loses her powers, and that's how her and Mike are able to live happily ever after.
Yeah.
I think Kali probably sacrifices herself for 11 in some way at the end of this. I do think maybe she could be a traitor. She could be working with Vecna, although I do think it does seem a little, the signs they're pointing out, I'm with you, Sean. It feels more red herring-y because of how clear some of the signs are. But I could also see her being a traitor and then ultimately sacrificing herself for 11. I do see that as a potential possibility as well. I'm terrified of Dustin and Steve saying to each other, if you die, I die.
I die.
If they die, I am going to be so upset.
Oh my God, if Steve dies, I'm going to crash out.
Dustin giving Steve Eddie's spear. Are you serious?
Oh. Any other
the bat with the nails in it? I would still actually like to see that make an appearance, though.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back the nail bat.
Maybe he makes one for Dustin. Any other theories going into the finale that we have not talked about that we want to touch on before we get out of here?
My biggest hope, and TJ and I have talked about this at length, I don't want Vecna to get redeemed. I don't want it to happen.
I don't even want to hear the explanation of why he is the way he is. Like, I don't even know why.
That part I find so interesting too, and I do think it's going to be explored because that cave scene that we got, that Holly and that is not the cave scene described in the stage show. In the stage show, his time in the cave is like so glossed over, and it's like
traumatic.
It's scary. It's traumatic because that's where he found technology and got transported to Dimension X. At no point do they say that somebody else is there. He holds a gun on him. He disarms him and then kills him with a fucking rock. Mm-hmm. That is not explained in the stage show because It's not Henry talking about his own perspective. It's Brenner explaining it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like kind of a gloss over. And so I do think this whole what the fuck actually happened to Henry in the cave is going to be explored a lot deeper, because he killed someone and took the technology. He didn't just stumble upon it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I think that, because that's what I love about this setup, is that there's not much left to be explained. The only thing really needed to be explained. We know Vecna's plan. We know what the Upside Down is. We know what the Abyss is for the most part. And the only thing that hasn't been explained is like the Mind Flayer's part in all of this. Still,
I saw
like, who's really in control. Is it the Mind Flayer? Is it Henry?
So Netflix in Latin America accidentally released their finale trailer a little early, and I managed to see it before it got taken down. And there was a moment with what looked like a head sticking out from the Abyss into the Upside Down. And people are theorizing that this little like dark crystal hand looking thing that you see in the Abyss, that's kind of the Vecna layer, is the Mind Flayer's body, and that we see the head of the Mind Flayer, and then eventually it will become the three-headed dragon Thessal Hydra that we heard about back all the way back in season 1.
Okay.
And that I think we might be seeing Thessal Hydra. That's my other theory. And it's been predicted in the painting that Will did for Mike. They're fighting the Thessal Hydra. We've seen the Demogorgon, we've seen the Mind Flayer, we've seen Vecna be teased in these D&D games prior to their introduction as actual villains. And I think the one we have not seen is the Thessal Hydra. So I think that is what it's all going to transform and turn into. But yeah, no, I think that'll be interesting to see if the hand thing is the Mind Flayer's body in the Abyss, and that he is sticking down into the Upside Down. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I saw a lot of things too where it's like where he's keeping the kids, that tree looking thing that he's in, that's just the Mind Flayer's dead body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of like, that's the husk that he is keeping them in. I saw that too. Sean, anything else, or shall we get out of here?
No, that's it. That's the thing I showed you. We're like, oh yeah, that looks like the Mind Flayer's body that he killed and made I would also be fine with if they reveal that Vecna is the true big bad. But if we do get a thing like a Thessal Hydra thing, that'd also be cool too. I'm open to whatever. I'm excited to see how it wraps up.
You can find Sean on socials, Sean X Mott, as well as at Metalcore Nerds on all socials, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find Caroline at Wanda's Lola on Twitter, at Caro G with some numbers on Twitter.
2802.
2802 on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in with us today. We got lots of exciting stuff coming. We got our James Cameron and Stephen Lang interviews for Avatar Fire and Ash, now streaming on YouTube, wherever you get your pods. Subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating, hit the like button here on your way out, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on all the good stuff we have coming later this week. We have our year-end draft, followed by our Pluribus finale breakdown, followed by the Comic Corner, followed by our Percy Jackson and the Olympians breakdown. We have a show every single day this week. So stay tuned, join us, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. What do you got, Caroline?
Oh, only thing is I'm not going to be there for the year-end draft, but just know I draft the summer I turn pretty.
Perfect. Great. Shout out for that. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in today. We got some new live viewers in the chat. We see you. We appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will see you next time. Thanks for coming, everybody. Peace.